Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Yasser Said from IELTS Karo, and today we are attempting Cambridge 19 IELTS Academic Reading Test 4, exactly similar to the IELTS computer delivered format, which is basically our own computer delivered software, which I'm using, which we provide to our students who enroll with us for our classes. And this is how everyone with us prepares for their full length academic or general training reading test. So before getting started, what we're going to do is we're going to reset the time. We're back to 60 seconds. We can adjust everything in here. We can click on any question to reach to that paragraph as well as that information. What we're going to do as a good rule of thumb is, as always, we're going to read all the questions, try to understand what it is, and then have a look at the passages, and then start by reading the question and finding that information using skimming and scanning technique from the passage. And here's how it's going to be. So we've got 6 true false not given questions, which again is a type A question. They follow the exact logical sequence and pattern as that of the passage. First, first, second, second. This is how it is. Once we go on to question number 7, again, this is in the same passage, same format, same order as of the passage. Then we are going to go to question number 14, and which paragraph contains the following information. This is not in the same format, so the answer for question number 14 could be C, it could be D, it could be A. We can't say with any guarantee. Then NB, you may use any letter more than once. We have to, if we click on question number 18, yes. So we have to read this, match it from the passage, and see which one of these persons have stated that. Then what we're going to do is we are going to, again, multiple choice questions, type A. Then we've got summary completion, logical format. These same as in logical format, we will be making sure that humans who, so you get the idea. Just have a look at the questions. So we've spent around 2 minutes trying to understand the questions. What we're going to do is go to question number 1 and start doing it. So the way it works is that we're first going to understand what the passage question is, and then we're going to find out its answer. Okay, so here it is. um, it says 40 years ago there were fewer butterflies in Britain than at present. So let's have a look at where it says butterflies and Britain. The butterflies will declined in Britain. Declined in Britain over the past 40 years. So this highlight option is what we do provide, but some of our students say that this option is present with IELTS actual test, and some say it's not. So we cannot guarantee that this feature is going to be present over there. 40 years ago, there were fewer butterflies in Britain than at present. In order to population, around two-thirds butterflies has declined in Britain. So over the last 40 years, they have actually declined, which means 40 years ago, there was much higher population than it is today. Hence, this statement matches, but 100% contradictory. It is false. Caterpillars are eaten by a number of different predators. Let's have a look at where, oh, they talk about caterpillars. Okay. In the aquarium, butterflies development, which are second stage in a interact as prey for birds as well as bats and other small mammals. Number of different predators. Who are the predators? Mammals, bats, and birds. Who gets eaten are the caterpillars. Develop into caterpillars, and these insects, act as a prey for birds. So predators is what attack, prey is what gets consumed. So this is true. Phenology is a term used to describe a creature's ability to alter the location of a life cycle event. Let's have a look at where do, okay, just right. This seems to be good enough. Phenology. Where does it say phenology? Phenology is a term used to describe a creature's ability to alter the location of a life cycle event. Suit them is by changing the time of the vision. Scientists refer to the timing of such life cycles. So, the animal or plant starts to do something earlier than usually it is said to be advancing its phenology. To alter the location, in which species and ensuring conditions suit them, changing the time. Okay, alter is to change. Synonyms, this is something you have to pay focus on, you have to pay attention on. They have the ability to alter the location. This is what the question says. But the passage says they have the ability to change the time of the year. Hence, it matches, but it is false. It doesn't change the location, it changes the time. Some species of butterfly have a reduced lifespan due to spring temperature increases. Let's have a look. I have observed widely in a wide range of butterflies. Butterfly, okay. Range species, okay, we seem to have found something. In Britain, as the average spring temperature is increased by over the past, species have advanced to between 3 days and a week on average to keep in line with the cooler temperatures. And ready to adjust to new temperatures. It seems like we may have a bit hard time finding this answer. So, in the actual exam, if you ever get stuck, this is what you're going to do. Skip it. Don't focus a lot of time on answering that question. We'll come back to it. There is a clear reason for the adaptations that butterflies are making to climate change. And one more thing, every time you attempt a question, this is how it's going to be. You see this? Let me increase the size. Yeah. Nope. Okay. So you see this? These are the questions that you have already attempted. Some species of butterfly have a reduced lifespan. No, there is a clear reason for the adaptations the butterflies are making to climate change. The answer is still unknown. Millions rather had been submitted of butterfly enthusiasts. Free time was in the actors, and this provided information 1/3 every year. Each question along with how far the net had moved. Data also crucially allowed researchers to estimate subtle changes in what time of the year adult butterfly. Analyzing the trends in each variable, the researchers found the species more flexible and more likely to benefit from earlier emergence driven by climate change. The butterflies are making to climate change. Is it not given? No, I think this is false because it matches, but it is contradictory. The data used in the study was taken from the work of amateur butterfly watchers. This provided had been submitted by butterfly enthusiasts, people who spend their free time observing. No, if someone is an enthusiast, it means they are experts, most probably. So they're not amateurs, they're not beginners. So number 6 is going to be true. I'm sorry, you're right. By butterfly enthusiasts, yes. Allow me to correct myself. The data used in the study is taken from the work of amateur butterfly watchers. Yeah, they are enthusiasts, they're not experts. So, enthusiast is someone who's just an amateur. So, yeah, question number 6 is true. We've got question number 7. So, these questions are going to be answered from here, I guess. Okay, so we're left with number 4. All right. Let's have a look at where do they mention the small blue lives in large. So where is the small blue? Unwilling. The answer is reason discover the species more were more likely to benefit from emergence. Some are able to go from caterpillar, spring and grand. Among these species are those who have been advanced. Most of those species, Britain's tiniest butterfly, the dainty small blue. Okay, let's highlight it. Lives in large, whose colonies are up to 100 strong. So lives in large colonies. Or you can simply copy and then paste it over here. First appears at the start of fly early in spring, at the start of spring, I guess. Okay. Completes more than. So now the high brown fritillary. This is also a keyword because this is going to be mentioned just like the small blue in with each letter of the first word in capital. Okay, we've got high brown fritillary as Britain's most endangered. Has one is considered to be more dash than most endangered butterfly in this group. In this group, which means in this group compared, which means compared to others. So it's considered to be more. Okay, since I'm not sure with the spelling, so what I'm going to do is copy, Control C, go there and paste. This feature will be available in the test. Its caterpillars occupy a limited range of. It is also a single generation that has advanced its phenology. Also single generation that are so the capacity. Um, where does it mention the word? Its caterpillars occupy endangered. Where is endangered? Okay, where is its caterpillars occupy a limited range of. Okay, hmm. Let's leave it for now. We're unable to find the answer. The silver-studded blue is already able to reproduce twice a year in warm areas of. To add a second generation years that are sufficiently warm. In warm areas of continental Europe, choose one word only. Hence, it is Europe. The White Admiral. Where is the White Admiral? Silver studded blue might be able to switch to multiple generations. I don't know the additional warmth, potentially leading to. The White Admiral is found in dash areas, in my southern England. Is found in southern areas of England, both climate change and the dash of the caterpillar due to and the diet. So 13 is diet. We're not sure about the answers for question number 4 and 10. We'll come back to them later on. So let's go on question number 14. Okay. So what is the answer to question number 14? So the way it works in this is um, always skim, try to scan all the numbers, the names. Says Upton, University of Plymouth, then geologic U.S. Geological Survey. Highlight this as well. We've got at depths of up to 6,000 meters. Scientific research. Oceans occupy around 70% of the planet. By Julie Hunter and Julian Agon from Blue Ocean Law Pradesh in the Center for Marine Bremen argues. Okay. A reference to the rapidly increasing need for one raw material in the transport industry. A rough estimate of the area of the Earth covered by the oceans. How a particular underwater habitat where minerals and organisms coexist is formed. Reference to the fact there are countries in the world have yet to agree on rules for the exploration of the seabed. So we need to understand which passage, and none of these are repeating here. It's only repeating from question 18 to 23. These will be unique answers, mutually exclusive. A reference to the rapidly increasing need for one raw material. Okay, so let's have a look at Matt Tipton found that a microbe from deep sea sponge was killing pathogenic bugs in his laboratory, and it could be a breakthrough in the fight against resistant superbugs, responsible for thousands of deaths a year in the UK alone. A reference to the rapidly increasing need for one raw material. It doesn't say anything about one raw material. Hmm. Rapidly increasing. We're looking at the bioactive potential to see if there are any more medicine drugs down there destroyed ever. Among many scientists, urging a halt. Urging a halt means looking to put an end, looking to stop this practice. Sea cucumbers, tails on, and rare dumbo octopus. Okay, it's not a mineral; it's an animal. The deep sea contains more nickel, cobalt, and rare earth metals than all land reserves combined, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Okay, this is talking about raw materials. So, reference to the rapidly increasing need. So, the thing about this is first 1 to 2 lines, and the last 1 to 2 lines contain a lot of information. The slurries then dewater and transfer other atmosphere. Extracted are pumped back down discharge close to the seafloor. Okay. Deep center could help diversify and pointed out the demand for resources. Oh, increasing transport industry means electric car batteries and other metals. The diesel could yield far more superior ore to land mining with little, if any, waste. Resources and aluminum, cobalt for electric car batteries and other metals. So I think this is C. Okay. Let's have a look at um, let's have a look at F and D and E, all of these. So, but when environmental legal groups have urged caution, arguing their potentially massive unknown, a rough estimate of the area of the Earth covered by the oceans, potentially massive and unknown ramifications. So we have 42 minutes remaining, and we have a lot of questions to do. Hmm. A rough estimate of the area of the Earth. No. How a particular underwater habitat where minerals and organisms coexist is formed. No. I don't see any of that over here. Knowledge of the deep sea bed remains extremely limited. Reference to the fact that the countries of the world have yet to agree on rules for the exploration of the sea. We don't know yet what we need to know. Okay. He's saying something. He's saying that we don't know what we have to know. Urge caution. Despite arising in the halves, the new deep sea mining shares many future past resource scrambles. I think the countries of the world have yet to agree, and that the global regulatory framework is not yet drafted. Yes, 17 is D. Okay, let's have a look at E. Scientific research, including a recent paper in Marine Policy Journal, has suggested the deep seabed have crucial impact biodiversity and the global climate. A rough estimate of the area of the Earth covered by the oceans. The mineral-rich vents and their surrounds are also home to many well-known. Okay, so the mineral-rich vents. What is this question? Question number 15. Hmm. How a particular underwater habitat where minerals and organisms coexist is formed. When something is formed, it is created. Can we say that? Many were animals, including. Ah, we don't want mining on them. Okay, I get it now. This is something that we need to know. So the answer for 16 is E. All right. And the answer to 15 is something we still need to understand. A rough estimate of the area of the earth covered by the oceans. Okay, occupy unexplored. Occupy around rough. That pretty much answers it. That pretty much answers everything here. Okay, questions number 18 to 23. Now, what we're going to do is have a look at how these questions are being done. A move away from the exploration of heavily mined reserves on land is a good idea. A move away from the exploration of heavily mined reserves on land is a good idea. So we need to have a look at who said what. Hmm. Who said it? Um. No, A is not. A is not the answer. Professor Mapton is not. Let's have a look at Julie Hunter, Julian Agwan, and Pradeep Singh. Okay, Julie Hunter and Julian Agwan. Total disregard. A move away from their heavily mined reserves on land is a good idea. No, I don't see anything over here. Dr. John Copley. Let's have a look at where and who is Dr. John Copley. Where is Dr. John? Do we have any Dr. John Copley here? Um, okay. No, he just Dr. John Copley basically says the same that we should not be drilling. Um, Mike Johnston. Who's Mike Johnston? Hmm. A move away from the exploration of heavily mined reserves on land is a good idea. So, which means that this statement suggests that mining under the ocean is a good idea, which means Mike Johnston stated that we can explore this untapped potential in an environmentally sustainable way instead of continually looking at the fast depleting land resources of the planet to meet society's rising needs. So, this is D. Okay. Now let's have a look at 19. the negative effects of undersea exploration on local areas and their inhabitants are being ignored. So I think we found somewhere. I think Professor Matt Upton stated, who view the deep ocean will be lost. Yes. Okay. I said it could be A. Julie Hunter, the negative effects of undersea exploration on local areas and their inhabitants. So he's also talking, I mean, he's not saying any negative effects, but he is saying that it's not good. So what did Julie Hunter, Julian Agwan, and Pradeep Singh stated? General disregard for environmental and the marginalization and the right the areas and their inhabitants. Indigenous people are those who are living there, inhabitants are those who are living there. So this is B. There are more worthwhile things to extract from the sea than minerals. Okay. So let's have a look at what Professor Matt Upton stated. There are more worthwhile things to extract from the sea than minerals. Okay, he's talking about medication. We're looking at the bioactive potential of marine resources. If there are any medicines. Okay, so the first two paragraphs are talking about medications and drugs. The last ones are talking about resources, minerals. So this is A, Professor Matt Upton or Matt Upton. No other form of human exploration will have such a destructive impact on marine life as deep sea mining. Hmm. Um. So I think Julie Hunter, maybe B is the right answer because they stated because Julie Hunter stated this social impact and the marginalization. No other form of human action would have a destructive impact. By the way, we haven't said anything about Virana Tunnicliffe. We need to see who's Virana. Where is Virana? Ah, okay. So we also have another expert. Many of the greatest assault and using ever inflicted by humans. हाँ बिल्कुल ठीक. Mining will be the greatest result ever. When something is done as ever, something in the most superlative format as stated, it means that as destructive impact as deep sea mining. So yes, I think Vrana Tunnicliffe E is the answer. More is known about outer space than about what lies beneath the oceans. I think when it comes to outer space, I've heard something over here. I've read something about Mars and Jupiter. I've read some. Ah, yeah. The surface of the moon, Mars, and even Venus have all been mapped and studied in a commonly Mars that we don't know yet. Who said it? Who said it? I know it's in paragraph D, but I think it was stated by Julie Hunter, the authors. So who are the authors? B. I think this is B. Then we have 23. Okay. And 23 is what? There is one marine life habitat where experts agree mining should not take place. Hmm. So as you can see, we have B stated twice, and then we have A, D, B. So we have chances of A, E, D, and C. There is one marine life habitat where experts agree mining should not take place. Let's have a look at what Professor Matt Upton stated about it. Okay. Let's have a look at what. Okay, this has been done already. So has all of these, except I don't see Dr. John Copley. A B D E. A B D E. Let's have a look at maybe Dr. John Copley because this has not been done. We only say this as the next option. Let's have a look at, is it Dr. John Copley? Where is Dr. John Copley? Where are you? Okay, extraction methods will produce large sediments and involve the discharge of waste by disturbing. We don't want mining on them. Vital seabed functions. One, marine life habitat. Crucial impact. So, hydrothermal vents. This is the marine life habitat. Are home to many well-known animals, including crustaceans, tube worms. Okay, so this is basically the habitat, and this is marine life, and this is the habitat. So I think the answer has to be C. Okay, mining the seafloor. So this is basically a summary of all passages from A to F. And this is what the answer is going to be for each one of them. What we're going to do is going to choose one word from the passage and then try to understand it. Mining corporations believe that the mineral resources lying under the sea may be superior to those found in the earth. They also say these can be removed without producing much trash. The extraction often done by adapting the dash that has already been used to work online, by adapting the methods, equipment. However, concerned groups strongly believe that dash is necessary due to the possible number of unidentified uh, consequences. Caution, maybe, that these can be removed without producing much. Okay, forget about these. Okay, so mining corporations believe. Mining corporations. All right. Um, with little, if any, waste. Okay. Waste, as I stated earlier, waste. The extraction is often done by adapting the dash, different method, but most involved employing some forms of converted machinery, previously used in terrestrial mining from the seafloor. Okay, previously, so by adapting the converted machinery? No, only machinery. Why? Because one word answer. However, concerned groups strongly believe that dash is necessary due to the possible number of unidentified consequences. Hmm. Have urged caution. Concerned groups strongly believe that dash is necessary. There are potentially massive unknown ramifications, which means unidentified consequences. Caution. Got it. 27 to 30. All right, let's go to 27. Psychologist gives his view on how humans became self-centered. Okay, what is the writer doing in the first paragraph? Now, you go straight to the paragraph where the question is being asked. And let's try to first read the questions, the options that we have, and then study the passage. A, setting out two opposing views about human nature. B, justifying his opinion about our tendency to be greedy. Describing a commonly held belief about people's behavior. Explaining why he thinks that humans act in a selfish manner. There has been there has long been a general assumption that human beings are essentially selfish. Okay. When to compete against you know, resource and common power possessions, if we're kind to one another, is usually because we have ulterior. Ulterior means Dirty, not good, bad. If we are good, it's only because we have managed to control our and views. There are no opposing views. No, he's not justifying. Commonly held belief, general assumption. A general assumption is a commonly held belief. 27 is why he thinks that humans acted. He's not explaining why they act in that manner. What point is made about Richard Dawkins' book, The Selfish Genes? Okay, Richard Dawkins, 90% of The Selfish became popular because it fitted so well with and helped to justify the competitive and individualistic ethos that was so prevalent in the societies. So this is a reason. Lay in the radical nature of its ideas. Success was due to the scientific support. Justifies his view to reference to the no, the view that was in line with the attitudes of its time. Ethos, attitude, innovative approach, analysis. No. C. Presented a view it was in line with the attitudes of its time. Question number 29. What does the writer suggest about the prehistoric era in the fourth paragraph? Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the fourth paragraph. Let's just highlight it all. This is the fourth paragraph. Societies are more complex than many people believe. Um, Supplies of natural resources were probably relatively plentiful. Most estimates about population sizes are likely to be inaccurate. Moved across continents that was more than was previously thought. Collecting. Hmm. No, societies were not complex. We had only less than half a million. Only 500,000 people lived back then. Supplies were probably Ruthless would go to war. Yeah, this could be stated. Most estimates are likely. No, he didn't say anything about being inaccurate. No, there was no. They didn't move across continents because they were hunters. They were hunting the wild animals to feed on. Supplies of natural resources were probably relatively plentiful, and the main reason for that is that he's stating that it was unlikely that prehistoric hunter-gatherer groups had to compete against each other for the resources or had any need to develop ruthlessness and competitiveness or to go to war. The writer refers to Bruce Knopf's work as support. Where's Bruce Knopf's? Bruce Knopf's. As support for the idea that selflessness is a relatively recent development in human societies. Only people in isolated communities can live in an unselfish manner. Different lifestyles have survived unchanged. Cultures worldwide declining in number. Uh, Back in the ocean grammar, there is significant. Hunter-gatherers are characterized by extreme political and sexual egalitarianism. Nas observed that individuals in such groups don't accumulate property or possessions and have an ethical obligation to share everything. Hmm. Don't arise. Yeah, back then, people were not selfish. So, selfishness is a relatively recent development in human societies because significant evidence to back this notion. Back what notion? The notion of competing against each other. I mean, the notion of not competing against each other. So, hence, this point correlates with the previous one, and 30 is A. All right. So we have 10 minutes remaining, and we have 1, 2, 3, we have 10, 11, and 12 questions to do. No, we have actually 20 minutes remaining. And during that entire time, what we were actually doing was also discussing, and I was also trying to explain this to you. Question number 31. Bruce North's research shows that contemporary hunter-gatherer societies tend to exhibit a high level of what? Ethical obligation. A high level of obligation. So methods of preserving by ensuring disparities in all areas of life. A high level of no egalitarianism. Now, if you're confused by the word, just copy, Control C, Control V. Now, okay. In these cultures, distributing resources fairly among all members is a moral obligation. Yeah, more obligation could not be the right word because it's already stated. Also employs strategies to prevent differences in dash occurring. In dash occurring. For example, says in disparities, differences in status, whereby the credit for one person's success at dash is given to another member of the group. Ah, the credit for one person's success at what? At hunting is given to another member of the group. Individuals who behave in a dash manner are punished. To domineering to the member of the group, ostracize. Ostracize means to punish. So if you're having a problem when it comes to this, we can just click on copy, come here, and then just paste it up. Women have a considerable amount of dash punished by another the group, and women have a considerable amount of dash in choices regarding work and marriage. Considerable amount of, high level of, and considerable amount of. Synonyms: considerably high or a high level, considerable or high. Level of what? Autonomy. Autonomy. Do the following statements agree with the views of the writer in reading passage 3? Some anthropologists are mistaken about the point whether the number of societies such as the Kong began to decline. Not sure. Okay. Many anthropologists are mistaken. Many anthropologists believe that societies as the Kong were normal until a few thousand years ago. Population led to development, agriculture, and civil lifestyle. Warlike transparency would have had an advantage over those. Trace races and war male should have been selected by evolution. They would have been of the little benefit. Nope. So we found the answer to the question number 37 as no, which means the answer to question number 36 is somewhere in between here. They're not mistaken. It's not given. Being peaceful and cooperative is a natural way for people to behave. Yes? Yes. They were prevalent in human life for tens of thousands of years. Let's move on to question number 39. Hmm. Mm, animals? No, it hasn't failed. It has actually proven that changes in environment lead to an emergence of aggressive behavior. Hence, the answer for question number 39 is here. Because same logical pattern, same order as the passage. Animal research has failed to reveal a link between changes in the environment and the emergence of aggressive tendencies. Hmm. Negative traits are more apparent in some modern cultures than in others. No, he didn't make any comparison. This has to be not given. Okay, he did not make any comparison. All right. So what are we left with? We have 13 and a half minutes remaining, and we're going to click question number 4 and try to solve that. Some swing butterfly have reduced lifespan um, due to spring temperatures. There is a clear reason adaptation the butterflies are making to climate change. So these could be the reasons, and this is phenology. Not given because there is no mention of reduced lifespan specifically related to spring increases in spring temperatures. Then we have question number 10. Ah, occupy a limited range. And this was here, the high brown fertility. Its caterpillars occupy a limited range. Limited range of what? I don't see it. I don't, I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay, I'm really not sure. I'm only left with one question. Specialize in very specific ah habitat types. Occupy in this group might specialize in very specific habitat types. Limited range of habitats. I think maybe. So now what we're going to do? We have almost 10 minutes remaining, and that includes the 50 minutes that took me to complete the test. उसके अंदर वो सारा टाइम शामिल है जो हमने बातचीत की. We made sure that you had an understanding of the question papers, how it is done, and imagine if you're doing it on your own without talking to each other. You'd still have enough time to do all the questions, proofread. There are few butterflies in Britain than at present. False. Number of different predators. True. Yes, it was false. It was not about the location, but it was about the timing. It was false due to spring temperature. Nope. The answer is still unknown. Yes, so the answer is not given because it is unknown. Clear reason for the rapid I'm making to climate change is okay. The data used in the study is taken from the work of amateur butterfly watchers. Yes, true. Colonies, spring, endangered habitats already able to reproduce twice in warm areas of Europe, and southern areas of England. Okay, climate change, the diet of the caterpillar, possible reasons for decline. Deep sea mining. Okay, the transport industry, electric car batteries and other metals to power technologies, smartphones. C, a rough estimate of the area of the Earth covered by the oceans, occupy around 70% of the planet. So if you had been scanning, you would immediately have highlighted 70%. 6,000 meters, depths 3,000 meters. These numbers, they carry weightage. How a particular underwater habitat where minerals and organisms coexist is formed. How is it formed? Which are created? Deep seabed and vents are created, and they show in the next few lines how they are created. Seawater meets volcanic magma, and then they have minerals, rich in minerals, and home to many well-known. So it's shown the process. E, a reference to the fact that countries of the world have yet to agree. What to agree when countries agree and governments talk to each other? It's more of a regulatory framework. So yeah, it is D. Questions number 18 to 23. A move away from the exploration heavy mine is a good idea. Is D. Mike Johnston. It makes sense, which means it's a good idea. The negative effects of undersea exploration on local areas and inhabitants are being ignored. B. Julie Hunter. Local areas and their inhabitants. Indigenous people and their rights. Inhabitants. Okay. Ta, 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 ta. There are more worthwhile things to extract from the sea than minerals. Professor Matt Upton. Potential of to see if there are any more medicines or drugs, not minerals. So hence, it is A. No other form of human exploration has had such a drastic impact. E. Greatest assault ever. E. More is known about outer space than. Oh, okay, so outer space, summarized by the surface of the moon, Mars, and even Venus, have all been mapped and studied in much greater to the sea. We don't yet know what we need to know. मतलब कि हमें पता ही नहीं है कि वहां पे क्या है. There is one marine life habitat where expert agree mining should not take place. C. Dr. John Copley. डॉक्टर जॉन कॉपली. वेयर इज डॉक्टर जॉन कॉपली? एक तो यार ये बंदा ही नहीं मिलता मुझे. कौन है डॉक्टर जॉन कॉपली? किधर है? वेयर इज डॉक्टर जॉन कॉपली? कम ऑन. Okay, Dr. John Copley. Yes, marine life. This is what they're talking about. Yeah, it is C. Mining corporations believe the mineral resources. Mining corporations believe, argue, paraphrased, synonyms. Without producing much waste, is not yet passed number resources. Disregard. No. Argue the fact. Without, with little, if any, waste. The extraction often done by adapting the machinery, traditional manufacturing, but all employing some form of converted machinery. Caution. Have urged caution. I strongly believe that caution is necessary. They have urged caution. Rephrased. This is the difference when it comes to an 8-9 band scorer and a 5-6 band scorer. उनको पता होता है कि हर पैराग्राफ और हर क्वेश्चन को रीफ्रेज किया जाता है. 27 to 30. What is writer doing in the first paragraph? How would I know? By reading it. Describing a commonly held belief, a general assumption. Made about Richard Dawkins' book, presented a view that was in line with the attitude this time, to justify and are so prevalent. Yes. Supplies of natural resources were probably relatively plentiful. Yes, they didn't compete with each other. इसका मतलब है supplies बहुत ज़्यादा थी. The writer refers to Bruce North's work as support for the idea that selfishness is a relatively recent development. Modern human get characterized or that individuals don't complain. They also have methods of yes, as support for the idea is a recent development. Egalitarianism, status, hunting, domineering manner. Some anthropologists may take mistaken. No, they're not mistaken. Humans are born and have had an advantage. No, they never. क्योंकि आप इसने बताया, ठीक है ना? Should have been selected by evolution, but individuals would be less likely to survive. Yay. This is the answer. Hence, it's no. Peaceful and cooperate is natural way. Yes, it is natural way. Negative rate is more apparent in some modern cultures than others. Nope. They've not talked about that. Not given research. Nope. इसके बारे में एनिमल रिसर्च का बताया है. They do become violent and hierarchical and aggressive अगर उनके एनवायरमेंट में चेंज किया रहता है. यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं एनवायरमेंट में चेंज हो तो उसमें नहीं होता. यहाँ पे स्टडीज फेल हैं, इधर स्टडीज पास्ट है. इट इज नॉट गिवन. वी हैव 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes रिमेनिंग. सो जस्ट इमेजिन कि हमने कितने सुकून से पूरा टेस्ट कर लिया. लेट्स गो डाउन. लेट्स सबमिट द टेस्ट एंड वोइला, वी इवन गेट के हमारे पास 3 minutes 44 seconds रिमेनिंग थे एंड ऑल ऑफ द क्वेश्चन टाइप्स वर राइट. कौन से क्वेश्चन टाइप में हमें क्या क्या डिफिकल्टीज और किस किस क्वेश्चन टाइप्स में हमारे कितने गलत हैं, हमें वो भी पता लग जाता है. दिस एक्चुअली रिफ्लेक्ट्स ऑन ऑन योर वीकनेसेस कि आप कहाँ पे वीक हैं एंड विच एरियाज नीड मोर फोकस. और उसकी बेसिस के ऊपर देन यू कैन गो बैक टू आवर एमएस फॉर द लिसनिंग एंड रीडिंग मॉड्यूल और वहां पे उस सेक्शन के रेलिवेंट, फॉर एग्जांपल यू वांट टू डू मोर ट्रू फॉल्स नॉट गिवन, मोर नोट कंप्लीशन, वो आप क्वेश्चंस वहां से कर सकते हैं. ऑल राइट. सो we can actually show in text. This is shown in text, or we can see the explanation. So let's suppose if this was not given, where is it shown in text? Because it's not given. The passage discusses change the timing of return time, but does not mention a reduction in the lifespan. You see that? Show in text. Data from minute had been submitted a butterfly enthusiast. Show explanation. So the statement is true. You see that? Like अगर आप कहीं stuck हैं, you can actually click on show in text and you can click on show explanation as well, which goes on to clearly show कि आप, you see that? This is what matters. This is how we would love to see you practice. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. All of the questions are right. You can always click on show in text, show explanation to see which question is taken from where and why it is the right one. You can also click on show explanation. This is how you do the reading test. And with 3 minutes and 44 seconds remaining, even after spending 5 minutes on doing all of the passages together and reviewing everything and proofreading and editing everything, this shows there is ample amount of time. Even the reading being the most difficult and challenging, one thing is certain, you can easily do it. So now you should be able to get an 8+ band score. With that being said, take care. Jazakallah khair. फिर मिलते हैं एक और वीडियो में. I love you all. Allah Hafiz.